Today's episode is sponsored by romance title Seasoned, written by Delaney Diamond. After 3 failed marriages, Renee Joseph is through with men. She just can't seem to get it right. Then things heat up with her neighbor, Clive. Will this relationship last, or is she destined to spend the rest of her life alone? Right when Adelaide Flores is getting used to life without her ex-husband, they're thrown a curveball that forces them together. As she and Hector handle a family crisis, the time they spend together reminds her of the good aspects of their marriage and how much she still misses him. But have they grown too far apart to make marriage work the second time around? All her adult life, Jackie Bryant has worked to get to the point where she is. She owns 3 successful boutiques, but there's something missing from her life, and her happiness will depend on the tough decisions she must make when her old lover, Tyson, comes back into her life. Seasoned features 3 women and their love stories. Seasoned is available now from Amazon, Barnes & Noble Nook, Apple, Google Play, and Kobo. Learn more by visiting DelaneyDiamond.com. Welcome back, readers. Today we are fully diving into the topic of book reviews. We are not only sharing our thoughts on book reviews, we are also going to give you 8 tips if you would like to start reviewing or if you would like to level up your reviews. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with some book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That will really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing so. The uncut video version of this podcast is available now on Patreon. Join us there for exclusive videos, including this podcast after show, where we get even more candid with our opinions. So if you're at all interested in that, you'll need to come on over to Patreon and sign up. We've got a lot to cover today, so we are going to jump right on in. Joining me is feature co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Yay, I'm glad you're here. We are going to do a deep dive into book reviews. Woo! The good, the bad, the ugly. And plus, we're going to have 8 tips for those that want to write their own book reviews. And you'll definitely want to hang around until the end of the discussion because we have some readers react comments on this topic. And we want your feedback as well. So please follow us on socials so that you can participate in our next Readers React. So you'll see the little cue, you'll see the little post, and you can just share all your thoughts like these people did. All right, let's jump in. Reviews. I thought this would be a fun topic to talk about because, you know, I always find myself reading reviews, listening to reviews. I don't really write reviews as much anymore, but I definitely do them via the podcast with Shelf Bites nowadays. That's more my speed today. But reviews are still a big component of my bookish life, more than they ever were, even though it's changed for me versus what I used to do as a traditional blogger, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. So what's your tie-in with reviews, Casey?
I started writing book reviews for Literary Escapism 10 years ago. Almost exactly. I think I started in August 2010. So 10 years ago. And I loved it. It was the best thing I ever did. It definitely set me on this path of just a huge bookish life. But over the past few years, I've kind of fallen off the face of the earth with writing reviews just because I'm so busy doing everything else, like editing and reading for fun and getting paid to read. But I still absolutely go around reading reviews, telling my friends reviews. I'll be like, this book is the best thing ever, or this book is the worst thing ever. And so it's more verbal. And that's pretty much my life right now. And I feel a little guilty about not going into like Amazon and leaving reviews, but I don't want people to associate me as an editor critiquing books, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like I want to make sure there's this line of, here's Casey, the reader, saying this book is great, and here's Casey, the editor, talking about the problematic issues of this book.
Okay. So you've got kind of a different spin on book reviews now than you used to. Kind of like I do though as well. Not as obviously I'm not an editor by any means, but just the process of, which is funny because when I do the shelf bite, I technically kind of write bullet points. So I probably could just write the review, but
I mean, bullet points are a review. And people can listen to you talk about it on Shelf Bites for less than 10 minutes. Like, that's an easy way to get a book review.
And I just feel like, for me, like, I know because I am a podcaster and I'm constantly writing and reading anyway, I read reviews, but I do feel like a lot of people don't read reviews like they used to. Like, they don't visit blogs.
They used to.
Yeah, they don't visit blogs with the intent of reading a review anymore.
10 years ago, blogs were everything. Everybody had a blog. Everybody was following blogs. Everybody was reading and writing reviews. And then, society shifted. Social media shifted. We had Instagram come up, and suddenly everybody just wanted the pretty pictures with the covers. Podcastings became huge, and everybody just wanted to listen while they're doing something else. Because you can't really go to a blog and read a review while you're driving down the street,
Yeah.
But you could listen to a review while you're driving down the street.
I mean, you could, but I'm sure an accident would ensue.
Yeah. Please don't ever read and drive.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I've seen people reading a newspaper and driving, and I've seen people reading text messages while driving. So, but just don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, because like Instagram, you mentioned now the book community on Instagram, they're calling themselves Bookstagram. And what you see mostly are photos, pretty flat lays and other things of books. And sometimes, I don't think that everyone is doing the reviews full on yet on Instagram, but sometimes you will see the reviews in the body, up under the photo.
Comment. Yeah.
Yeah. So not all the time, but I think it's becoming more and more like that's where they're going to review their book, not on a separate blog or not somewhere else, if they're going to do it at all.
I know back in the day, 10 years ago, when we would leave reviews on Goodreads, we would just leave part of the review and then link to the blog, so people would have to go back to the blog. So I don't know if they're doing that on Instagram or if it's just the full review in there.
Well, the ones I've seen are the full review on Instagram. Okay. They're not, because you can't link anything in the body.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but I still do that on Goodreads. I will link it to like either the podcast link where I've reviewed it or something like that. But also people have, even more recently than podcasting, or more, I guess it's more seasoned now, is YouTube. So on YouTube, people are doing book reviews on camera, and instead of writing it, they just want to talk it, but they want to show their face. And there they call themselves booktubers, for you guys that don't know. I'm like, oh my gosh. So they all have their own little name everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
So even that I think it went from blogs to YouTube to Instagram. And now, you guys, people are doing it on TikTok. Have you seen that?
They're doing it on TikTok?
There is a book community on TikTok. It's small still, because I was looking at it after I heard about some drama between BookTok, as they call it, and Book Twitter.
What the hell?
They had drama. Girl, look, God. I saw it on YouTube. A YouTube booktuber. This sounds crazy. Booktubers talking about the drama between Book Twitter and BookTok, okay? It's the funniest thing. But after I saw that video, I'm like, let me look it up. And I'm like, wow, there are booktuber or booktalkers, I guess, on TikTok talking about books, recommending books, and talking smack about Book Twitter.
I need to know more about this drama. What is going on with the youth today?
Well, that's it. The youth today. That's the drama. Because it seems like Book Twitter is older, but it's older millennials still, and there's obviously some that are not millennials, but there's definitely the younger millennials and whatever the new generation is called. I don't know what they're called.
Gen Z?
No, Gen Z is like older than millennials. I can't remember what they call themselves, but I guess apparently some book Twitter person said something. And you guys, I don't have receipts. I didn't keep it all. But if you search it, you will find it.
Okay.
So it started
I'm gonna
with
have to search this.
Somebody on Twitter said something about how come only popular authors or something are talked about on, by these young people on TikTok. Like, why can't they think about outside the box or something?
Oh my God.
And then it started back and forth. Well, you old people, basically, over there on Twitter, and then it just started going back and forth. Yeah, it's a thing.
Oh my God.
I mean, but at this rate, who knows if TikTok will be around in a couple days? Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, so I got off topic. Oh, yeah. All those places you can find book reviews.
Yes. Yes. You can find book reviews in any format, which is great. People should be talking and reviewing and promoting their favorite books.
Yeah. But with that said, are written reviews dead? I mean, I still read them, but I mean, they're not as plentiful, I think, as they used to be.
I don't think they're dead. They still have their space. Like, if I'm scrolling through Amazon and I see a book, I definitely scroll down to check out the written reviews down there. I'm not necessarily going to put down my computer and pick up my phone and go to TikTok and try searching for this one book to see if one person has recommended it at some point.
Right.
No, that's
silly.
That's how you randomly find stuff. But when you on Amazon or at the bookshop and you're trying to figure out, is this a good book or not? That's when you want a written review.
Yeah. And like when you're looking with intent. So for example, if you guys have Patreon, then you will see the buddy read after show. Most of the time, Classy and I look for our next thriller or mystery title, and we will peruse the list, and then we go through the process. We're like, oh, whoa, somebody on Goodreads said ABC. That's crazy. It was like, we'll kind of filter using written reviews. So when you're looking with intent, sitting at a computer, written reviews work best, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. But when you're out and about, just scrolling through social media and you see somebody saying, hey, I just read this book. This is the greatest book ever. That's when I flag it. And I'll go to my Goodreads and add it and be like, I trust this person. I know they usually have good taste. Yeah. I'll check this book out later.
Yeah.
So
I still do that even with written reviews, like on Goodreads, because you have friends. I will weigh more heavily with someone that I know reads similar to me.
Yes.
Similarly to me.
That's a whole other thread. We can
we can talk about that next. Like, right. Where do you trust your review? Like, who do you trust and who do you not, kind of thing?
Well, I trust you. I trust all your reviews because we've had, 3 years now where you and I are usually on the same page about books.
Yeah.
With all of our series, you and I are usually right around the same rating. So if you say a book is good, I'll be like, yeah, no, I'm going to read it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. But we have 3 years together of this. We've built this trust, so to speak, or whatever to call it, of reading together. If you were just a random person on Twitter saying, hey, this is a good book, I might look at it, but it won't be at the top of my reading list. I might, not ever get to it.
Yeah, I hear that. But when I think about Goodreads, for example, I don't have a open thing on Goodreads. You have to purposefully friend me on Goodreads. And if I friend you, I've looked at your profile. So I'm not going to I'm not really friends with authors on Goodreads. I don't do any of that stuff because I want people who have similar shelves to me. I won't if one of my friends on Goodreads says something is good, I'm not going to take their word and just run with it. But it does weigh more heavily than just the random public review that I read. And I'm not going to,
Oh, yeah. No, Goodreads, I only usually read reviews by the people I'm friends with because most of them are fellow book bloggers that I friended 10 years ago. If I ever do scroll through the giant community reviews, it's usually because I want to find something funny about that book, not because I want to read it.
Those reviews are hilarious sometimes, though.
Yes. Some people are so snarky and just so over the top, and there's always GIFs and memes and, you know, crazy shit going down. And if I just like need my popcorn and wine and trash for a night, I might do that.
Let's just scroll Goodreads for shits and giggles, because it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And it is. And, you know, not to be funny, some of those public reviews have made me not want to read a book. Like, because they go in, and a lot of them, they don't care. They tell, you know, they do put the spoiler tag, but if you dare open it,
they go all in.
Yeah. They don't care.
But there are some good ones. Like I've seen years ago, there was this young adult book that came out that was essentially Twilight, but in Ireland. Like it had the same plot line, and the Goodreads reviewers were literally breaking it down and saying, here's a paragraph from Twilight, here's a paragraph from this book. There's only 2 words difference. And like, it became this huge drama because, you know, this person basically plagiarized Twilight, but put it in Ireland and, you know, got traditionally published.
Yikes.
So that was a good Goodreads review time, you know.
Exposing people. I mean, expose them.
I haven't seen anything like that recently. Yeah. But again, it's been a decade that I've been on Goodreads.
Goodreads is so old.
It's so old. It has never changed once in the last 10 years.
Not even a little refresh. It's not like the same old poor, you know, user experience. I mean, it's just not pretty. And I think that's why so many younger readers are not on there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
we need a good new version of Goodreads.
Yeah, better. Indeed. Yeah. But also, I did want to mention when it comes to trusting reviews, and I think we mentioned this before in another discussion, but I can't remember where, but I want to bring it up here because it applies. But I don't trust celebrity reviews. I do not. I don't care if Oprah likes it. Usually me and Oprah don't get along with our book review, what we like. Oh, no. If Oprah says it's good, I'm like, this shit boring. And I mean, I love Oprah, but I just don't trust her reviews because I'm not even sure she actually reads the books. Same with Reese Witherspoon, all these celebrity book clubs. I don't trust it. And then people are giving these blurbs. I'm like, you know, you read 2 chapters, maybe, or that's your best friend or something, or your publicist said
to do this.
Right. And I also don't really trust author reviews because of that either, because they are they're like friends in friend groups. So, so this group of friends always give blurbs on each other, and you really can't trust if it's good or not because that's your friend. So I don't really trust those either. What about you?
Many, many years ago, you know, back when I was in high school, before I started reviewing, I naively believed that, you know, an author review on the cover meant that they read it and they loved it. And then over this past decade, I've slowly realized that that's not true at all. I also, back in the day, didn't realize this, but an author could give a fellow author one like blurb for one book, and then that same blurb could be used on every cover of every other book they ever write. You know, so it's not just specifically this book being blurbed. It could be like, somebody says she's great, and then she's great comes on every single cover.
Wow. So they're not even talking about that book.
No. So
shady business, man. Shady biz.
It's marketing. It's, you know,
so it's like you can't even really trust marketing. You know, we talked about blurbs and stuff before, you can't even trust that half the time. I just did a shelf bite, you guys, I swear. And I felt so bad about pointing it out, but I had to do it. The blurb was clearly written before the book was done, or it was on a previous version, or they didn't read the book, because there were things that are not true in the, like, okay, like the biggest thing is like the blurb says, that the main character goes to help her aunt in her tea stall in a market. Her aunt owns a tea shop. Not in a market, not a stall. They talk about her opening this shop, all the process she went through to get this place, God. I mean, the author goes so far into the development of this tea shop, and then the blurb talks about a tea stall in a market. In a market?
No,
that's completely wrong.
No.
Oh, I didn't call out each thing, but if you read the book, you know instantly what was wrong in the blurb. Yeah. But since I sent the review to the publisher, they may go on Goodreads and change the blurb.
I hope so, because
I mean, I like the book. I mean, but I got to point out what you're reading here is not really what you're getting.
Yeah.
So I got to do it. I'm sorry, I cannot, like, in good conscience, just ignore it, especially if I'm reading the blurb to you to explain it to you.
Yeah, no, you got to point out shit like that.
I'm a stickler for those things. And that's why some people like me. They know I'm not going to play you. I'm just going to say. So.
And that's why I trust your reviews, and why I know if you tell me, hey, Casey, this book is really good, read it, I'll go read it. Like, no questions asked. I won't even read the blurb. I'll just be like, oh, yeah, sure, hand me the book. I'll start chapter 1 right now.
Oh, I'm so honored. Oh.
Yeah.
Heart over there.
I definitely need to move to Michigan.
Yes, you guys convince her to move here. Convince her. Come on, it's really good here. I promise.
It's better than Tennessee. I know that for a fact.
Michigan is underrated. I think people think Michigan is like a boring place to live, but it's not. It's underrated. We never get the props we deserve in Michigan. Like, we're more than just the auto industry.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I do want to visit someday, after the pandemic is over.
I know, right? Oh, God. Maybe in 2022 then.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, what else do we need to talk about with reviews before we break out into our tips?
Well, 1-star reviews.
Oh,
we kind of talked about, the glowing reviews and such, but what about 1-star reviews?
I actually, when I'm looking at public reviews, I look for the 1 and 2-star reviews first.
Oh, me too. Yes.
Yeah, I want to see what they critically have to say about it. And I am one of those people that can tell the difference between someone just going on a rampage and giving me critical feedback.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You have the 1-star reviews where it's like, so stupid, too much sex, we'll never buy again. And I'm like, all right, I'm buying this book. And then you have the ones who are like, okay, so this is what was wrong with the plot. This is what was wrong with the character. This is why it's misogynistic. This is why it's racist. This is all the issues with it. I'm like, I trust you in your 1-star review.
Yes. Like, your reasons are valid. And that will halt me from buying a book for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because just on the flip side, like how 1-star reviews are very important. 1 and 2-star reviews are important. They have their place. So if you guys really hate a book, I encourage you to say why.
Yes.
Don't be scared.
Yes.
Say why. And I do that. I'd be like, I didn't like it. Let me tell you all the reasons why. I just don't put it on the podcast. But if you go to my blog, you may find some 1-star reviews on the blog. I just don't feel like wasting your time listening to something hear me talk about something
Ramble.
I hated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but you guys will know the stuff I love because the stuff I love is on the podcast. But flip side to 1 star are those 5-star, and I feel like the 5 stars can't be trusted, especially if they are a review of an arc, or they were gifted the book from the publisher after the published date. Not all, yes, not all people, but some people don't know how to give an honest review to something that they were given because they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Or they want to be the epic fangirl. And they scream about how amazing every single book they ever read is, and it's all 5 stars, and it's all the best thing they've ever read, and this hero is just the best alpha ever, and the heroine is this perfect virgin, and everybody is just perfect. And I'm like,
oh,
this is the same review you've given for the last 10 books. Like, mix it up. You can't, not to say you can't love everything,
but you can't.
But I find it very dubious that you give everything this perfect glowing review,
Yeah, I don't trust, like, I don't know if I told you before, but there used to be this girl in my book club where everything was awesome, everything was great. I'm like, I will never take a book review from her ever. I will never take a recommendation from her, because that means you don't know how to read critically. Like, everything is great, that's it. No.
See, I'm the eternal book optimist. Every book I pick up, I want to love it. Unless I'm picking up trash to read trash. But I want to love each and every book. I don't want to hate a book. I don't want to feel mad about a book. I want to pick up a book and have it be my next favorite 5-star read. Yeah. Like, that's what I do when I read. I want it to be great. It's not. It's never always great. Like, that's just life. That's just... books.
And I mean, none of us want to waste our time. So of course we are hoping with the best, we start any book with the best intention of liking it, right? Yeah. That's what we want. But even in something that I like, you still find things that you may not like. I mean, because every author can't please everybody. Okay. And they can't do everything for every character. And we know that. But that also means some plot lines may fall between the slots or whatever. You may miss some things, or things may not make sense all the way, or, maybe there are some spelling errors or formatting errors. Things happen. And I feel like it's okay to point those things out, because it's not perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Not everybody is perfect 100% of the time. And you're never going to love every single book by an author. Like, that's just a fact of life, because maybe you're not in the right mood, or maybe they do something that you just don't like. And you have to be like, nope, this one time I'm giving you a 1 star, but I'll read your next book and give it a 4 star.
Yeah, I see that all the time. Like, somebody will get to, and I've done that before. Like, I've gotten to, like, I was reading this one guy's books back in the day when I was enjoying a certain type of genre that I don't read anymore. But I was like, oh yeah, this should be good. And I get in there, and then this one scene happens, and I'm like, so turned off. I'm like, I can't. I didn't finish it. I never picked up another book by him, because I'm like, if that's in your head, we don't get along. So, I mean, it happens. So I'm going to be honest about it. I'm not going to keep saying, oh, this person's the best writer ever, just because I enjoyed, some part of the book. I don't know. That's me. I'm hard though. I'm hard on stuff though. Sometimes I try not to be. I try to always be fair. So even if it is a 1 or 2 star, I try to be fair and talk about the things that were okay or acceptable. So,
and that's what you should do with a 1-star review. Like, even if it's the worst trash you've ever read, there was the reason why you picked it up in the first place.
Even if it's just a gorgeous cover.
Yeah. Even if it's just a gorgeous cover. Say, whoever made this cover was on point, because it sucked me in. And then I realized that the content was just not for me.
Yep. Yeah. Because it's, I mean, and that's, there are so many people writing books. They always say everyone has one book in them. People say that everyone can write
All the
one
time.
book. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be good just because you have one story. Or 20.
Or 20.
Whichever.
Yeah.
Fun times, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see what time it is. Maybe we should take a quick commercial break.
Yeah.
Time to hear from our sponsors. And when we return, we will share with you guys our 8 tips in case you're interested in writing book reviews, or you've been writing book reviews, but you think you want to level them up. We've got some tips for you. And we will also share the Readers React as far as what other people think about book reviews. So stay with us.
Yay!
Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. All right, welcome back, guys. We are going to share with you 8 tips to help you become awesome book reviewers. Woohoo! Okay, we'll go back and forth. Casey, you start with your first tip.
Okay, so my first tip is be honest but nice. So, what did you like about this book? What did you not like about this book? Be honest, but don't rip it to shreds. Don't call it trash fire. Say at least one nice thing about it, even if it's just, this cover was beautiful. I love the cover, but the content was not for me. That's fine. That's a great review right there.
Yeah, I agree with you. Be honest no matter what. No matter what. I don't care where you got the book from. I don't care if you pay for it or not. Be honest, please. Your book reviews become so much more valuable when they are.
Yep.
Okay, my first tip is do not spoil major plot lines or plot twist. Even if you are not the non-spoiler reviewer, leave those out, okay? Because if you're reading thriller or mystery or even like some fantasy, don't tell the cliffhanger. Don't do it. Yeah. Just don't. Do everyone a favor.
The murderer was so-and-so and I didn't see it coming. Like, don't spoil it for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like discussions are different, but if you're doing a written review and it's on a page somewhere on Goodreads or Amazon, leave it out. Just leave it out.
Yes. No, if you're having an open discussion with people who have read the book or say they want spoilers, that's fine. That's totally different. That's when you can spoil everything.
Yes.
But if you're leaving a review like on Amazon or Goodreads or wherever, Instagram, TikTok, booktubers, whatever. Don't
it out.
Spoil it.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's the worst.
So my second tip is never attack the author. Just don't do it, guys. Just, again, be honest but nice. Yeah. The author is separate from the story. If you hate the story, don't say, I hate this author and hope they die. Like, no. Don't ever say that.
Not that.
Don't do that. Stop it.
Yeah.
Critique the book, not the author.
Although sometimes I got to be honest, I have a problem. We talked about this, I think, a couple episodes ago when we were doing a topic. I have a hard time separating sometimes the author from their work. So if the author does something bad, I stop reading the books. And in the same vein, if I read something that's utterly repulsive to me, it may change my opinion of the author, but I will not put it in a review.
Yeah, no, that's fair. If they do something that you just find so reprehensible and you just have to be like, nope, I can never read your book again because this character did this and that goes against everything I believe in, that's fine.
Yeah.
And maybe you could put that in a review, but just don't attack the author. Don't be vicious. Don't be a bully. Don't be a mean girl or whatever. Like, just don't critique and review the book.
Keep it professional,
Yes, professional.
Yeah. Keep it classy. Don't do that.
And I was going to say, if you really need to, call your best friend and be like, oh my God, listen to what this person did in this book. And let me just vent to your friends.
Yeah, totally. And along with being professional, I'm going to tell you, please, Lord, please use spell check and Grammarly. There is nothing worse than you critiquing a book for bad grammar or formatting or spelling, and you're using the wrong there. Or, you know what I mean? Just be careful. Yeah. Be careful. Yes.
Spell check or Grammarly. Grammarly has a free app that everybody can download and use.
Yes.
It's so helpful.
Oh, for sure. It's my friend.
So, I use it too. I'm the editor and I have it too.
I mean, honestly, all of us, like when you're writing something the first time through, you may miss something.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So, yeah, you need something to come back behind you and double check. So there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's good.
Nothing at all. Okay, getting to my third tip and, the meat of your review, it's just explain why you liked something or why you disliked it. And this is where you're getting back to being honest. You can say, I liked it because this trope is the best trope ever and I love it so much. Or you can say, I hated this book because there's too much sex and I just don't want to read all the sex. So,
or I didn't like it because there was no sex.
Or I didn't like it because there was no sex. So just explain why you like it or you don't like it. And that's your entire review right there.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Okay, so my next tip is for audiobook listeners. I think sometimes people forget this, but it's kind of imperative to an audiobook. When you're listening to an audiobook, you have to address the narrator experience because that adds or takes away from the book. Don't forget that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like the book could be okay, but the narrator's voice could be annoying or something. Or the book could be not that good, but the narrator is so good they helped it out. We want to know that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. And the narrators want to know that too. This is their job and they want to know if there's something they can improve upon. Yeah. I feel like they might be more open to reading reviews because the book isn't their book. But, they want to know how their performance was.
Yeah, especially if there's multiple narrators, if there's other things, like if it's full cast or if it's a lot or music or interludes and stuff, mention those things because those add to the whole audiobook experience.
And the audiobook experience is so different from picking up just a regular book off your bookshelf.
Yeah, for sure.
So different. You have to talk about that. All right. So my final tip is use comparables. So if you read a book, and you're reviewing it, you can say, hey, this book by Kelly Armstrong was so amazing and it reminded me of this other book by Melissa Marr. So if you like either or, you'll like this book.
That's a good idea. I think I need to be better at using comparables. I don't really do that. I will say, for example, if you like, extra spice with your reading, or if you like bad villains that are unredeemable, and I mean, I'll use that, but I won't say if you liked X book, then you'll like this book. But I've
seen it done well a few times, and I can get behind most of them. It's just easier in a review to be like, okay, yeah, if you like this genre, or if you like this trope, or if you like this style of writing, or these books, then you'll like this book.
Yeah. Comparables are good. Either way, even if you don't have like literally the book title.
You can be like, if you like any book in this trope, or this kind of genre, or this kind of style.
Yeah.
Similar to so-and-so and whatnot.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Definitely use that, guys. That's a good one.
Yes.
And my final one is be specific and intentional with your review without rambling. Yes, Lord. No one wants to read 5 paragraphs and you're like, what was the point exactly?
Yeah,
what exactly are you trying to say? Sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more. And you don't have to write a really long review for it to be impactful. Because honestly, sometimes if I see a review that's 5 paragraphs, 5 big paragraphs, I'm like, what is this? I'll scroll past it. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes if I see a huge review, I'm like, what? I don't want you to tell me the whole book, lady or sir. I don't want that. So what could you be saying for that much? Have you ever written really long reviews?
Back when I was writing for Ellie, I would do like 4 or 5 paragraphs, but that was on the blog where we had to break it all down. So since then, no.
Yeah.
But back then, yes.
What's that lady's, that meme? Ain't nobody got time for that. That's that meme.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just saying, but you know.
I mean, that was back in the blogging days when everybody wanted to read blogs and see all this stuff. And, you know, we would have all these pretty images to go with it and book covers and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it would be blurbed by the publishing houses. Excuse me. So.
Do they blurb from bloggers anymore?
I don't know if they do it anymore.
I don't know the last time I saw a blogger blurb. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Huh.
That's weird.
Yeah, they want our audience. They just don't want to give us any credit. But that's another discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do the Readers React comments.
Yes.
We have a good amount of those today. So forgive me for any stumbles because I'll be reading a lot.
You want to go first?
Do you want me to go first or you want to go first?
It does not matter.
Okay. You go first so I can prepare myself.
All right. Linda says, I never make my decision on what to read or even which movie to watch because we have different tastes. You may get someone who thrives on Tolstoy but has read this book by chance. I'd rather go with the flow and see where the adventure takes me. So Linda is kind of like us and doesn't usually read reviews, which is great.
Yeah. Okay, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Okay, so Shannon says, I don't pay much attention to Amazon or Goodreads reviews. I do like to find people with varying taste in books, and I will buy a book based on their opinion. I usually listen to podcasts about books or watch BookTube videos to decide if it will be worth it for me to buy a book. So basically, she does like reviews, but she just doesn't read them.
That's okay.
And that's cool. That's why we have all these different media.
That's why she can go to BookTube and podcasts and maybe TikTok someday.
Yeah. I think you might like my shelf bites, Shannon. Check them out if you haven't already. So thank you for the comment.
All right. So Amy said, I always go with the authors I know and love. If there's a new author I want to explore, I'll read the blurbs about the book, but no reviews for me. So thank you, Amy. Yeah, we're all on the same page here.
Well, if you read the blurbs, I hope they're right.
Let's hope so.
Because I just gave you an example of one that was wrong.
Or let's hope it doesn't spoil everything, because I've read blurbs that describe the entire book up to the last chapter. Yikes. And then it's like a will she, won't she do this? That, concludes the entire book. And you're like, thanks, I don't need to read it now.
Ugh, that's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, thanks for the comment, Amy.
Yes, thank you, Amy.
Okay, so Jessica says, I have been more willing to try new books due to the podcast reviews than I have just reading the reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. The podcast reviews get in more detail when you have other people's opinions than when you just read them. I've tried many new books just because of you than I ever thought I would. Aw, thank you, Jessica. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for listening, Jessica. So another one, Goodreads, Amazon, not so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Goodreads needed to be overhauled and changed a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So my final comment comes from Brenda, who says, I rarely look at reviews. I have my favorite authors and read new ones if my friend has them for monthly reads or a fellow book club member recommends them to me. So yeah, again, like us, you listen to your friends, you listen to the people you know and trust their reading styles, and you know that you're on the same page and you'll enjoy it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't really, I mean, you can lose, but it's less likely that you'll lose when you listen to people with similar tastes.
Less likely.
Yeah, less likely. Yeah. Thanks for your comment.
Thank you.
Okay, so Kira says, I almost never read Amazon reviews, but one of my favorite things to do after I finish a book is read the Goodreads reviews. I like seeing what other readers thought, and sometimes it helps me think about what I read in a new light. Sometimes if I read reviews before I start a book, it turns me off to the book completely, and I'll try a different book. I usually check a book's ratings first, 1 to 5 stars, and then read the reviews after.
Yeah, no, I love talking about books after I've read it.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 Bloggers 1 Series podcast, for example, is just a great way to sit there and break down a book and explain why you like it and what really worked for you. And hearing other viewpoints of the same book is a great way to think about it critically all over again.
Absolutely, because I feel like sometimes in discussion, just like with reviews, it will change in a good way or sometimes a bad way.
Oh, yeah.
What I thought of the book after I finish it. So, yeah, it definitely adds to the experience of getting other points of view after you've already read it.
Mm-hmm. And I like the idea of going to read other reviews just to see what other people think about it. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the option to sit down with somebody like immediately right afterward.
Mm-hmm. True that. I like that. I think that's awesome. So thanks so much for sharing that comment.
Yes, thanks so much.
I have one more.
Okay.
Jackie says, if my Goodreads friends review a book positively, I'll pick it up from the library. If I'm not sure I want to continue reading any given book, I will check the reviews to see if anyone else feels or felt the same way that I do and found it worth continuing. And I like to think book reviews are valuable since I review every book I read.
Yay!
Yay, Jackie. Thank you for doing that. I mean, reviews are very helpful. So
they're very helpful.
And I think that's actually a good way to do it too. Like if you're struggling, just look at the reviews, because I'm sure you're not the only one.
Yeah.
And then
go down to like the 3-star reviews and see, how are people leaning in the middle?
Yeah.
Or the 2 stars, because, it's the middle ground.
Yeah. And that really backs up again why I look at the 1 and 2 stars and sometimes the 3 stars, because I want to know what the critics think.
Yes. Yes.
Not everybody that loves everything. While there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But so many people, unfortunately, when you see the 5 stars, unfortunately, I found that more people are gushing than anything else. They're like fangirls, like you said, fangirl or boys or whatever, fan people. So I tend to gravitate toward the other reviews because I want a more critical look. So that is why also you will find if you go through my Goodreads or my blog or even like the stuff I've done here on the podcast, it's hard to find a 5-star from me. So I feel like when you come to me and you see I gave something a 5-star, it's legit, because I don't hand them out like candy. Some people 5-star everything. No, you got to earn it. I mean, I better be head over heels in love with that book to give it a 5-star.
Yes.
So think about that. That's food for thought for you. So thank you to everyone that commented and participated.
Thank you.
Yes. And of course, if you want to participate in our next one and give your 2 cents, definitely make sure you're a part of Shelf Addiction Official or follow us on our social media so you won't miss those prompts.
Yes.
Lord have mercy. Oh, Casey, are we done?
I think we're done.
All right. All I want to say is reviews matter, guys. If you choose to write a review, use your power for good.
Yes, use your power for good. Be honest.
Yes.
But kind.
Yes, all those things.
Explain why.
Yes,
all those
absolutely.
things.
All right, well, that is it for today, guys. And if you'd like to talk with us about this topic, you can find us both in the Shelf Addiction official Facebook group or all over the internet. You guys know where. All the links are below. So thanks for joining us today. Take care. And until next time, happy reading.
Bye.
Bye, guys. If you enjoyed today's book chat episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that enjoy all things bookish, including author interviews. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy reading.